It's
I
smart.
was watching an RA interview, you know the rapper RA, and he was saying that if all of the elders or the elders in each of these communities came together and had one, whatever you call it, some G8 summit in some town hall,
some conglomerate,
I personally don't think that's going to do anything,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because when deaths have occurred, there's no, well, in my opinion, I don't think there's any forgiveness. So once again, with what you're doing, when it's gone too far, what do parents do if they've got a child now, for instance, who's living in zone 2 or in any of these communities? Is it as easy as just saying move away? Because sometimes we think if you're living in Kenneton or living in Summer Leighton, Mitesfield or Angeltown, just move out. Is it really would you say that is as simple as just move out?
It's not because you become victims of your own environment, and again, it's hard for parents if they want to move somewhere else. Again, there might be a support network around there. So move from Kenneton to go to Newcastle is not going to make any sense. Still gonna have the same issue. Young person's not getting the support that they need. But then parents, the pressure in terms of having to work 40-hour work weeks, both parents might be outside the household, might be doing all the right things for their child, but they can't raise that child because they've got to go and pay the rent and feed that child. So again, you can't just say it's people that don't care or parents that don't care, because some just don't even understand it. A lot of adults don't even remember what it's like to be children. I don't forget because I work with children my whole life. My son's 15. So I remember what it felt like when I was 13, when I was 15, when I was 16. I remember those things, but adults are too quick to judge young people.
What are the things that you're doing now for your son being 15 that is, I'm going to assume he's not involved in, well, you're not your child 24/7, but I'm going to assume he's not involved, you've not had the police knock your door yet? No. And why do you think that is? Because we can use, this is clear experience now. So what do you think that is as to why your 15-year-old son has not, the police have not rang you? I'm assuming he's going through the school system fine. Yeah? And he's probably going to go to college now. And why would you say that your son hasn't fallen off the wayside, and what areas has he been raised in, sorry?
So he's been between, well, really, it's Bromley and Peckham, pretty much.
Okay, so, and I'm going to say Bromley is a bit different to Peckham in regards to...
He's in Ashford now. So he was with his mum in Ashford, which is totally different, which is 2 years ago.
And would it be fair to say that, has that helped a bit, him being away from Peckham, being in Ashford?
To some degree, but the thing is, what I've used is what he's passionate about, which is football, to actually keep him in and around that and those circles, and mixing with those people and understanding that, look, this is my people and this is where I grew up. So football's been really, really key for him, because I'm using that to navigate his life just the same way I did. Because he wants to, not because I want to. Like, I love football, he loves football off his own back. But it's about really talking to my son, you know, and get him to understand, like, emotionally where he's at, because I didn't understand that. You know what I mean? I've been in therapy for the last 2.5 years, since Raheem died, and that's been the best thing for me. So I talked to him about going to therapy, and I think
very
it's
important.
power,
And counselling,
massively
very
important.
important.
But there's one thing with my son: if I make a mistake with him, I'm going to apologise. I'm never wrong and strong with him. I've got his respect.
A parent apologising to their child?
Listen, I apologise to my child if I get something wrong.
Did your mum ever apologise to you?
No, but it's different.
I know, but it's these things, you know, it's these conversations. Even what you're saying, just saying, sorry, you know what, son, I messed up. Just an apology from parents. You don't get that.
Because it's not the norm.
No, but it has to be the norm, because these young people are learning from you. Your children are learning from you. So what you do, they're going to become those very same parents. So I'm always thinking outside the box. And because I've worked in the community, it's actually helped me to be a better parent. So with Cam, like, literally, I talk to him. When he doesn't want to talk to me about certain things, you know, I talk to him about sex. And the first time, you know what I mean? And he was just like crying. I'm like, don't cry. It's okay. Like, it's fine. Let's talk about it. Because you got to normalize these conversations, because they don't feel at critical times they can come and speak to you, because that's when they really need you. So if you don't foster that relationship whereby they can come to you and say, you know what, Dad, this is how I'm feeling, or this is what I watched, or this is what I saw, this is what I've been doing. All right, cool, let's figure it out. And I call that guided discovery, whereby you're behind your child, you let them lead. When they drop, okay, cool, I'll pick you up, let's have the conversation. Not like, oh, all right, cool, we need to talk now.
This is my way.
You need to lead that. You need to be kind of more self-aware that something has gone wrong, and come and speak to me, and then we can problem solve together. It's working in collaboration. And when you're working with any young people, even your own children, it's about that voluntary engagement. If they don't want to engage, you can't force them to do anything.
Now, you mentioned talking about sex with your son. Okay. Now, what kind of conversations are you having around that? Because I had sex young, very young.
Of course,
we all did.
No, I had sex young, like young. And my thing is that when I eventually had sex again, so the first time I was really young, like under 15. The second time I had sex, it was in some flats in Tesco's, Tesco 14th, literally up there in the flats. Literally, I probably lasted about 30, 40 seconds at most. So it felt longer to me, about 30, 40 seconds. But then my main person I had sex with was when I was at college.
Yeah.
She was like a teacher. And she was probably about...
A what?
She was a teacher. She was about maybe, I'm trying to think, she was probably about 7, 8 years older than me.
Right.
And often we find in these scenarios that when, let's say your son's 15. So let's say he comes home and tells you, Pops, I've met an 18-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Are you happy? Are you, man to man, are you cool with that?
No, I wouldn't be cool with that.
Because?
Because she's an adult. 18, technically, by the law of the land, she's an adult. 15, he's still too young for that. But again, it's not shutting it down. It's fostering those conversations, and that's the key things. That my son has had girlfriends, and I don't agree with it.
But how do you stop it though? That's what I'm trying to mean.
No, but I can't stop it. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
But you're the dad.
Listen, no, but
You're
young people,
big mentivity, bro.
Bro, listen,
son,
it doesn't matter.
You're big mentivity, bro.
I can't stop anybody from doing anything. All I can do is try to support you in making a better decision, but also offer you my opinion when it's valid. With my son, when he had his last girlfriend, I said to him, look, it's not going to work out.
Sounds a
for
little
you.
player, innit, man? On the field, he's playing. I mean,
But I said to him, look,
There's not making it on and off the field, yeah?
I had to drop him to his girlfriend's house. Do you know
Whoa,
what I mean?
whoa,
No, but
whoa,
listen
whoa
to
there,
what-
buddy.
Let me finish.
Whoa.
This is what I'm trying to say to his experience. I can't shut it down because young people are rebellious by nature. We were all rebels. Yeah, that's what young people do. So therefore, I fostered it and said to him, look, you're giving her too much attention. Oh, slept on the phone with on FaceTime. I'm like, what did she do before she met you? She slept. So why are you guys on the phone? You know what I mean? So why are you guys on the phone together? But I would say those things and I'll challenge him in an elegant way. Do you know what I mean? And then he got to the point that, you know what? No, it's too much, Dad. It's too much attention. I got to focus on football, blah, blah. Then he made the decision that it wasn't right for him. Not by me forcing him to do something, because then that's when you're going to get the
Let me pull it
rebellious
back. So you said you've dropped him to his girlfriend's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you? Okay. So what? I can only talk for me.
Yeah.
Up until the age when I got kicked at my mum's house when I was 20, 21, there was no girl allowed to ever stay over.
No, you didn't stay over.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, even when a girl came to the bedroom, that door was left open.
Of course.
And I was 20, 21. There was
Yeah,
no
yeah,
closing
yeah.
door. One day I closed the door. Have you ever seen a woman, who's got a dodgy leg try to keep the door open?
My door was closed.
Right, my door was not closed. And I'm saying
never that.
that once again,
My
people are
phone was
watching
out
this
the
and they've
locker.
got sons who are 14, 15 who are having girlfriends.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, so when you're dropping to the girlfriend's house, I'm assuming you know the other person's parent.
I've met them, made sure.
And that's one thing that, and I like the fact that you said that you're open, because when you're not open with your children, I'm going to use me as an example. You start doing things behind closed doors, and parents don't meet each other.
Yeah.
So you don't even know, like, he's going to the girlfriend's house, and it's right. The children are going to have girlfriend and boyfriends. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Innit?
Nothing.
There's nothing you can do. And I like the fact that you've mentioned that you've gone there.
Because I know what I was like. So
Exactly.
I know what I'm like. And he's my son. So I know he's going to do things like me in some aspects
some
of life.
aspects,
So
yeah.
I know, like, when my mum told me I couldn't do something, I was making sure I was going to do it by hook or by crook.
If he gets a girl pregnant, have you failed?
Have I failed?
Let's say he comes back at 16 and goes, Dad, it's a mess, you know, Dad, like, it's a mess. And you go, what do you mean, son? Talk to me, son. What happened? You missed a goal. Nah, Dad, hit it straight in the back of the net. And he's like, oh, well done, son. Well done. No, I mean, Dad, would you say you failed as a parent? If your son at 16 comes home and says he's got a girl pregnant, and I want to know, talking from now here, what would you do?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I failed as a parent. I would say that in terms of him making decisions for himself, that I didn't facilitate him to think more critically and think about consequences. I wouldn't say I failed because it's not my action. You understand? I can't take responsibility for what he's done. And the issue is now is about having those conversations, like I said, about sex and saying to him, look, we're young people. Young people are watching pornography, like just left, right and center now. But when I have conversations with young boys now about it, I'm like, you're watching this, but that's not an accurate representation of what sex is about. Sex, that's sex with the absence of love.
Yeah.
Sex is about procreation. About creating another young person, or it's a show of love for your partner. If you're watching this now, this is sex without love. There's absence of that. So therefore, you're going to get a false kind of reality when it comes to sex. That's not what it's about. So that's the conversation I had with my son as well, as well as other young people. So by him now understanding that, he will now think, well, why am I actually going to have sex if it's not a person I'm in love with?